how can I help anybody when when I was not even able to help my own son?
I would never do that. I would never do that. And I became that in a matter of minutes when they took my pain pills away.
And I said, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not what I used to be.
This is Faith in Your Recovery. I am Randy Davis. Welcome to the battle. Can you believe it? 230 some episodes. Not sure how many you've been able to listen to, but when you get a chance, they're all cataloged. You can hear them one by one and catch up with us. But my favorite episode is always the next one. So we're thrilled to be with you today and have our guest. I'll introduce you to her here in a moment. Make sure you like, subscribe, support us any way you can. We appreciate that. But thanks for joining us today on Faith in Your Recovery. Our guest, as I alluded to just a moment ago, is Alexandra Hyden. Welcome, Alexandra.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're looking forward to it. I've had a few moments with her. We've been able to share some things, got to hear bits and pieces of her story. We're going to tie it together now and share it with you. Alexandra, why don't you tell the folks why you're even here today? Why does this matter to you? What makes you want to, go through everything required here for this podcast?
So for me, when I first tried to get sober, it was like 2000, I don't know, 10 to 13, and they didn't really have anything out there to help anybody. There wasn't recovery coaches. There wasn't Brianna's Hopes. There was NA. You could do the 12 steps, and that was about it. So now I try to speak out as much as I can and help as much as I can, tell my story as much as I can, to be able to help more people.
We've come a long way with all of that. I'm glad we are where we are. We got a long ways to go, but at least we're chipping away at it. So let's go ahead and follow that up. Tell us your early story. What's your childhood and your what led you into the darkness of all the addiction and everything goes with that?
So with my childhood, it was me and my sister. My mom and dad were married for a little bit. They got a divorce, and my mom, she ended up getting remarried to somebody else, and Lauren and my sister and I stayed with my dad. My dad was a really bad alcoholic. The reason that my parents did get a divorce is because my dad had ended up cheating on my mom, and I had a little brother out of it. So it was me, Lauren, Cameron at my dad's. Cameron came every other weekend, all that. But my dad was a very bad alcoholic. He would have huge house parties and things, happen there that, shouldn't have happened. A lot of trauma, being so young and seeing your father partying with your friends. It can be a little, I don't know, disheartening. And you think it's normal that everybody does this.
That's what we're doing at home, so we assume everybody else is doing the same thing. Had to be overwhelming for you, okay, to go through your own personal traumas and watch all the additional toppling of life, just everything caving in around you from what I understand here.
And not only that, I felt invisible.
Why do you think? Was it your dad's absence from the alcohol that created that invisibility?
He was physically present, but emotionally dead.
Okay. You were both there, but you wouldn't have known the difference if you hadn't been, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us what what transpired during some of that, some of the traumas of your own life. I know you shared with me you've had different marital struggles, your children. Bring us into that chapter.
So my oldest daughter, she is now 16. Her name is Sophia. I had her when I moved out of my dad's house. I was about 16. I didn't do any drugs or anything then. We smoked pot. So me and her father, we raised her till she was about 1 year old. We got married, but he ended up cheating on me, and so I ended up leaving, and that's when my drug use really began. I met Piper, which is my second daughter's dad. He did Roxycontin a lot, and at the time I didn't know what it was, but it's kind of like Oxycontin, but a different form of it. And we would do those all day. And when Piper was born, she had it in her system, so that was the first encounter I had with DCS. And they removed her from the home. And then after that, I met a married man while I was working as a stripper. And we ended up having a lease together. And he didn't want anybody to know, his family to know that, that he had another child. So I wouldn't tell anybody who the father was. I still haven't. So Elise has kind of got that void where she doesn't, know her father and stuff. But
she's got to be sensing a little of that invisibility,
yes,
as you did.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
So she was born with drugs in her system as well. So the system again took her, and my mom ended up taking custody of them. Later, I met my husband. We had Phoenix, and we were on methadone. We thought we were, sober. We didn't do meetings. We didn't do anything. We just went to the methadone clinic every day. And when she was born, I don't think I've ever seen a child so sick in my life. They don't tell you that when you're pregnant and taking the methadone. They don't tell you that your child is going to have these high-pitched screams and the shaking, and it's pretty brutal for them. And as a parent watching it, you thinking you were doing the right thing.
How long did that go on for, those reactions and behaviors?
Well, luckily I was breastfeeding and I was still on the methadone, so it helped continue. Calm that, because it continued to put some in her system still. And it lasted about a month. It wasn't as long as most people go through. And then, so during, this period of time, I went to jail for various things, not anything too crazy yet. Let's see. Me and her dad, we were doing me and Phoenix's dad my husband were doing really well, we thought, with the methadone and working real jobs and, taking care of Phoenix. And then one night we just decided, we were going to smoke crack. I don't know why we decided that, but we did. And it just went crazy from there. DCS ended up getting involved again, and they took her. My mom had her, and it's so weird because I was in and out of rehab for so long, and then rehab was so expensive. My family had paid so much money for me to get sober all these times, and I just couldn't get it. But I remember my mom bringing the children to come and see me, and it's almost like I felt this resentment towards them because why are they good enough for my mother to raise, but me and my sibling was not. So I struggled with that for a long time.
I can't imagine. You're thankful the kids are with somebody, but then knowing you would have liked to have been getting that same kind of care and concern, but that was a void for you. So, how much total time, Alexandra, would you say that you've spent incarcerated due to drugs and all the side charges with that?
Anywhere between 10 to 8 years. Most of my from 18 to from 18 to 30.
So most of that time was spent incarcerated.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As we shared earlier, there's a big piece here. It's a very tender piece. I understand that. You share as you would. I'd like to have you share with our listeners the Detroit experience.
So I, after they took Phoenix, I started dealing drugs pretty heavily, and just to really keep up with my drug use. And I ended up getting a dealing charge and going to jail. When I was in jail, I got into a fight, and then they charged me with another level 3. So I had 2 level 3 charges against me, one for dealing and one for battery. And my grandparents, they ended up bonding me out on $100,000 bond. And they said I had to go to rehab. The condition of that was to go to rehab, so I did. And while I was in rehab, that is when my husband passed away from an overdose. And I ran from the rehab not too long after that. I don't think I dealt with it very well. Our daughter was only 1, so it was kind of, shocking. But after that, I kind of spiraled even more and looked on my case one night and saw I had another dealing case, level 4 this time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. Like, I got to get out of here. I can't stay around this area, So I'm all over the areas like Indianapolis and, Connorsville, just any area around the surrounding. And eventually one of my old high school friends contacts me, and she says that, all I have to do is work when I get there, but, I can stay with her. And she was living in Michigan, Detroit. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Like everything I got going on, I got to get out of Indiana anyways. And so she comes and gets me, and there's 2 bigger black men and her. They're like all decked out, and she's like, come on, let's go, and I jump in the car, and they're smoking a blunt, and they ended up handing me the blunt, and I smoke it. And after that, I could see and hear things, but I couldn't speak or move. And so I knew what they were saying, and I could kind of see what was going on. It was like in and out, but the guy took my phone, and he said, yeah, you're definitely going to work while you're here. And so I pass out I don't like, it's like 1 second I'm in Connorsville, and the next second I'm in Detroit. And when I kind of come to, we're in a hotel room, and, I was forced to do things, and he taught us different ways to make sure we didn't get robbed or, hurt.
They wanted to protect the merchandise, yes?
Yes.
Pardon me for using that label.
No, but that's the truth. That's the truth. They would even take us out and showcase us. So we would move hotel room to hotel room, maybe every 3 days, every 3 to 4 days. And he would make sure I had my heroin. He fed us. He wasn't bad to us. I mean, he wasn't nice, but he made sure we had everything we needed. And one day, the girl that from school that brought me there, I don't know why, but they put us in the same hotel room, and I freaked out on her, and then they removed her, and I've never seen her again. I don't know if she's alive or what happened to her, but so this goes on for a few months, and I'm rooming with this girl named Bambi, and she goes and takes a shower, and I ask the guy that's watching us if he could get me some contact solution. And so while this is going on in my head, like, because I was so mad at myself for so long, why are you not running? Why are you not fighting? Why are you just letting this happen?
Was it fear?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I still don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
That's fair.
And I was mad at myself for so long. Like, why did you let that happen for so long to yourself? And what broke me that day was that guy. He was like, "You're gonna do this," and I was not gonna do that. It was something sexual that I was not going to do. And he, beat me up a little bit, and like, "Yeah, you are." And then later, like, he went to get the contact solution, all that. And it's something inside me, and I know now it was God telling me it's time. You're strong enough now, let's go. And they didn't let you wear shoes just so you couldn't run. And so it's a 2-story hotel room. So I run down the stairs, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my gosh, if they catch me, I don't know what's going to happen.
And barefooted, mind you, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And I run down we're off the interstate. I have no idea where I'm at, but I'm running and running and running until my chest is on fire and I can't breathe anymore. And then there's another hotel that had like where you can pull in, and I ran inside there and asked to use the phone and called my grandma and told her where I was at. And I said, I'm in Detroit. And she's like, Michigan? I'm like, yeah, it's bad. And I give her the address where I was at. And I was scared to stay out in the open, and they had this laundry room like 3 doors down. So I went into the laundry room and placed myself in between a washer and a dryer and kind of like hid there. And I actually fell asleep because honestly, it was the first time in a long time where I actually felt safe. And by the time I had come to, it was dark, and I don't know my grandparents how long they'd been waiting out there, but they were there. They were right outside the building. I heard it, ran in, jumped in the car, and went home. So when I talked with my grandparents, they didn't want to, we still haven't really ever acknowledged what happened. I don't, it's not something that I even acknowledge that happened for many years.
The pain and trauma were just blocked out.
Yeah.
Blacked out.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was human trafficking, and for many years. I don't know what I thought it was, but So my grandma was like, "You're gonna die out here, and we're gonna lose everything because they bonded me out on that $100,000 bond if you don't turn yourself in." And I had 2 dealing cases and a battery. And so I was like, "Give me 3 days so I can try to get off this heroin, the best I can." And so I'm sick and trying to get off as much as possible, but then I go to the courthouse and I turn myself in.
So I want to back up a minute before we continue forward there. You mentioned a moment ago how you believe it was God's voice saying, now, this is the time. Scriptures say today is the moment. But regardless, he speaks to you that way. What was your attitude toward God at that time? I don't mean about that statement, but what was your attitude toward God, your relationship with him at that moment?
Before then, I didn't even I don't know, I don't want to say I didn't believe in him, but I hated him for everything that he had, I felt like, put me through and allowed to happen in my life.
Wow, such a key word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back. You're facing this time. You want to do your best for your grandparents. They've got this money invested. You want to help them with all of that. So you go to turn yourself in. Yeah?
hmm
Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead from there, please.
And prior to going to prison, I was dabbling in Wicca a little bit.
Tell the folks what Wicca is.
It is a form of paganism. What I did was Nordic. So my deity was Freya, and that's who I would.
That was your god, so
Yeah.
to speak. Yes? Is
Yeah.
that accurate?
Yeah, we didn't necessarily worship our deities, but we thanked them and gave offerings to them. I didn't get deep into it until I was in prison and they had a group for it, and that's when I joined a covenant
How long were you a part of that?
for about 5 years.
Okay. Where did that take you? What did that do to or for your life?
I thought it was helping me because I tried every religion. I studied Buddhism. I studied Catholicism. I had studied Judaism. I mean, I could go on and on. All I've studied, and then this Wicca popped up, and it was something I'd never heard of. Because, like I don't know if I mentioned it, but I grew up Catholic, and I went to Catholic school, and so that wasn't something spoken about.
Sure.
But when I learned it was witchcraft, I don't know, the people were so loving and inviting and willing to teach me these ways and they claimed it help release my pain and suffering and all these things. And
Did you ever experience that? What they told you it was about? What it could do for you? Did you ever feel a sense of peace during this or a weight lifted from your shoulders, anything like that?
I don't know. I did a lot of spells and stuff, and I had watched them unravel. But to feel a peace, I don't believe I ever felt any peace with it, but it helped me. I think it helped me have something to hold on to, something tangible, something real that I felt like was real.
And that's what we're after here. It's not a matter of what's right and wrong. We're listening to your story. We appreciate you sharing that. We've not had a lot of folks on here who have been able to talk about, the Wiccan aspect of worship or following, whatever the proper words are. I understand why you weren't into Christ, why you weren't into God. You had that anger. When was it in your life that you felt that anger start to lift, start to dissipate? When was it that you realized, nah, this Wiccan way is not going to do it? Here's something else that can.
So it took a long time. In prison, I did the Plus program, which is a reformative program. I did RWI, which is a recovery while incarcerated program. I did building trades, cosmetology. I mean, I did every program you can think of. While I was in the RWI program, we were doing NA, and it was my turn to share my story. And it just like, I don't know, word vomit. Like I couldn't even believe what I was saying, and that was the first time I ever came to terms with the fact that I was involved in human trafficking, and it was a weight lifted off my shoulder for sure. And I did not realize it was God talking to me until well after I'd been released from prison. Actually, I have only been following Christ for probably like 8 or 9 months now.
So you are a new believer. You're still a babe in the word. Congratulations, number one. Good choice. Should have been number one, but congratulations. How has that changed life for you? What's your outlook now compared to before?
I'm not angry anymore. I don't blame him anymore. If anything, I thank him for saving my life on many occasions. I should be dead right now. I should have never made it out of there, and I would have never made it out of there had I not heard that voice in my head tell me.
So, now that you made it out of there, what's life about, Alexandra? What are you doing with the skills and the gifts that you have? I know you shared it with me earlier. I want these folks to hear what you're about. Some of the things you've accomplished, the things you're wanting to do, those things you are doing.
So I've been a recovery coach since 90 days out of prison. So I've been out about 3.5 years now, and been able to help people. I work for the Choices CERT team. And so basically we go out and help in emergencies, but we also have a caseload of people that we work with as well. I work for Cornerstone as a family preservation specialist, and we're contracted out through DCS, and I get to help families who have CHINS cases open try to keep the children in the home rather than taking them out of the home. I just recently got my associates in human services and my certification in addiction studies. I was actually the commencement speaker for the graduation. I've bought my first house.
And you had some visitors there in the house, yes?
And I got my children back.
3 of your children are back and living with you, correct?
Yep.
Awesome.
And, bought my first big car, like an actual, like, it's a good, like a nice car, like I've never had these nice things like that. We're very blessed. And, so the girls, I hate that it's like this. They kind of follow the Wiccan way because of what I had taught them. So I've been trying to right my wrong, I guess you would say.
Deprogram them, yes.
Yeah. And, I just tell them what God's done for me, and I play Christian music constantly and hoping that it'll catch on. I pray over them, pray that, they're going to be mighty women of God, and that, they're going to shine, and they're not going to follow the path that I did,
As as I read the bio you sent us and information, I forget the context, but what does it mean to you to break? What kind of significance does that hold with you?
What do you mean? What do you mean by
Well,
break?
I'm trying to think back to how you use that, but you, in so many words, you said something like, I don't feel broken. Whether that means you were shattered and able to
Yeah.
put the pieces back
Mm-hmm.
together. But obviously, it's taken work, it's taken study, it's taken a relationship with Jesus, it's
Yes.
getting your kids back. And a little bit ago, you alluded to the fact that your story is not over.
Right.
Here you are, 8 months into being a Christian. That growing time, that infancy, you've got so far to go. But the important thing is to get farther tomorrow than you got today. Like with any
Yes.
addiction, make it through the day without and try to heal from there. It's the same thing. Get to know Christ better today and then better tomorrow. You can't handle it all at once. None of us can.
No, and that's what I do now. If any situation happens, I literally get on my hands and knees and cry, please take this from me. And that's the true happiness, the only true happiness that I have felt the relief from by doing so.
What are goals from here on out? What are hopes, dreams?
Right now I'm kind of confused about whether I want to stay working in addictions, or if I want to go more towards the like DCS case management stuff, because they're both so dear to me and I've been through both. Maybe I can do both. I don't know. I'm going to get my degree in social work, and I'm going to get my LAC license addictions counselor, and see where it takes me from there, and see, what happens, where God takes me.
Do you believe you can get there?
Absolutely, with God's help.
You should. Number one, the key element, with God's help. That's the key element for anybody. But when I hear where you've been, what you've been through, and pardon me, I can't get the visual out of my mind of Barefoot running on the interstate. And to be able to settle into a moment like this and to share this story, wow. You made mention you didn't know how many miles you ran. You talked about that pain in the chest and everything that went with it. You're going to have to go several miles now to get to that goal. But look how far you've come.
Yeah.
I mean, just some incredible mountains that you've been able to climb, and the places that God has led you, the help he's been. And as you said, you had more than one opportunity for it to all be over, not even be here today with any kind of hopes or dreams. And you've got all of these. To me, that's just the lovely craziness of God, okay? Please don't take this any way I don't mean it, and I don't know the best way to say it, so I'll say it bluntly. To think of the hell you were living in, and to know now the heaven that you have available. That's what it's about. My darkness wasn't the same shade as yours, but I had my darkness. Regardless of what I was into or wasn't into, I was just as far away from God as you were. I wasn't into those same activities, It didn't matter. I wasn't truly worshiping any dark deity of any type, but just to be able to make it until tomorrow. And finally, he made that same impact on me. Alexandra, our program is called Faith in Your Recovery. What does that title mean to you?
I to me it would be for me without my faith. I don't believe that I could continue my recovery. Like I'll be 8 years sober
Congrats.
this year, and it's like it went exactly the way it was supposed to go. I learned along the way until it finally, God met me where I was at when I was ready. And that was the next phase to keep me going.
What is it, as we start to wrap this up, that you would like to share with the folks listening? Whether it's a final word of testimony, a final word of experience, a challenge, a hope, give this a chance kind of thing. How would you like to wrap this up?
I would say that no matter what you've done or what you've ever had to do, how far down you've thought you have been, that, God was always there with you, and he will continue to love you and be there for you. Even when you are pushing him away, he finds a way to come right back and show you that he never left you.
I think of that visual too, of trying to push God away. It can't be done. We can try to push him out of our hearts, but he's still got a corner in there where he's sitting, waiting. I love the story of the prodigal son, the father basically standing at the door. My boy's coming home, kind of thing. And just, it was the same way with you. And Jesus was doing the same thing. My daughter, who has been through this and that and participated in all of this, she's coming home. And the smile across his face, it couldn't have been any bigger. So, wow. Thank you. You've had a lot of interesting stuff for us. You've touched on some things that we certainly haven't, beaten as far as repetition goes here on our Faith in Your Recovery podcast. Sorry for what's gone on. Thankful for where you are today, and even happier and more praiseful about where you'll be tomorrow. Stay with it. We always like to tell our folks, stay in the battle. We love you. Take care. We're here to help you in any way we can. God bless, and thanks for tuning in today. And thank you too, Alexandra.